le Canadien, le Canadien, le Canadien. Are you happy? How you feel about your favorite team? Les glorieux, la Sainte Flanelle, le tricolore. Unbelievable. I don't know if you are like me, but I'm maybe so excited about the Bleu Blanc Rouge, les habitants de Montréal, for the next 10 years. I don't know who'll be alive, but I'm going to enjoy every single day about the Montreal Canadiens because now we are on the right direction. If you don't believe on that team, I don't know what it takes for you to believe that team is going to be one of the best in the NHL for years to come. Because yeah, the foundation is there. We just need now to build the first floor, the wall, the window, the door, and then go to the next second floor, and then we put the ceiling and we put the roof, and then we celebrate the Montreal Canadiens, maybe with the cherry on the top of the house, a Stanley Cup at some point. What about a parade in Montreal? That's maybe the only thing could make me to return in Canada is to have a parade at the Stanley Cup. It'll be my last one, to be honest with you. At least they do a back-to-back Stanley Cup. But you can see my positivity about the Montreal Canadiens, guys. I feel like this is a time now to be positive about your team. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You're going to have some kind of downside of this. But at the end of the day, I think we have to open your eyes with the quality, the skill, the talented player we have in front of us already right now with the foundation of Laine Hudson, Evan Demidov, Juraj Slafkovsky, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and maybe more is coming very soon with the Montreal Canadiens. And this is what I talk about in my short video. Every day I release a video at 11:45 a.m. You have to watch this because this is where you're going to learn about something about the Montreal Canadiens every single day. And the night we show up here. And tomorrow we're going to be back but not we'll be back. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be back at 3:10 tomorrow afternoon. Why? Because we're going to have the big game, the women hockey and the Olympics. Team USA versus Team Canada is the preliminary of the tournament. So we're going to watch this game live here at afternoon, and then I'm going to be live also tomorrow night for what? The All-Star game in the American Hockey League. Why? Because we have three players, Adam Ekstrom, Jacob Fuller, and we have Laurent Dauphin is going to be there at the All-Star game. Maybe two of them going to be one day with the Montreal Canadiens. I feel for me, Adam Ekstrom is already ready to play in NHL, but that's another time to talk about them. So tomorrow we have two. And then following after that, Olympics, plus the show tonight. Guys, this is going to be a great week for the next 2 weeks. Something we're missing Montreal Canadiens game, of course, but they're going to be back the 26th. And that's the reason we do the show tonight, to give you a little bit what's coming for the Montreal Canadiens, the next 25 game, the schedule, what they look like, the schedule, what the move for Kent Hughes, what are you going to do for the next 25 game, where do you see them, what do you expect is going to happening, and of course going to do a preview game, not the preview game, but the preview of the Olympics 2026 at the Milano Cortina in Italy, and we're going to give you a preview of the men's tournament hockey over there. It's great to have the tournament back and to talk about the Olympic in Italy. I said, why not to bring someone who was born in Italy and is with us tonight directly from Toronto. So, welcome in the house tonight.
Oh, Coach, you never cease to amaze. First of all, I was born in Canada.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Your family. I'm talking about your ancestors.
Yes, my family is Italian. Yes, I'll give you that. But
I feel like everybody is they're all from Italy, Mr. At some point.
Well, yeah, it's one of the friendliest countries in the world. So it's you always feel at home when you're there. That's for sure. But looking forward to the Olympics. It's going to be exciting. We've had some interesting things already unravel at the Olympics. Starting off with the flu epidemic with the Team Finland and postponement of the Canada's game as well for the
Yeah.
women, and this men's Olympic hockey tournament's going to be quite the sight. I think it's going to be it's interesting. Like, do not obviously expect anything like the Four Nations because the rules are obviously different. The rink is a little bit smaller, um, but and the rules are also a little bit different as well. So it'll be interesting. You have to take each game seriously. You really can't afford to fall behind a particular team by losing, and it's you're going to use obviously the round robin to judge what are your best combination of the lines. I know that they've preliminarily put together some lines, but it isn't until you actually play the game that you see who clicks with whom, and so I look forward to it.
Definitely, we're going to talk about this the next couple of minutes. Before we start, I'm going to welcome a couple of people. Welcome Chase, or Chase on that way. Carol, welcome back, Carol. Thanks for being with our Canadian show tonight. Pratamo Farat Petra is with us tonight. Billy from Nova Scotia is in the house. Ovidio from Montreal is in the house. Pierre W, the Italian for the Saint Honor, and Patrik Laine is with us. A cold bet of the night at Dort with 12.5 points for 3 time. Good show all, Pierre W. Welcome back. Pierre W, I was thinking, if I knew to reach you, Pierre W, I will do it early today because you don't believe it. Mr. Tap and all the folks in the chat. Yes, the maestro and Mr. The maestro coach watched the game live between the Japan, Mr. Tap, and Italy on the women hockey side. And I watched the full game, guys. I did not miss anything. It was on LDS, on TSN, and I watched the full game between Italy take the lead 1-0. And then they take the lead 2-0, power play goal. And then Japan came back at 2-1, Mr. Tap. And they was hanging there, and they was control the game at the second period. And then at the third period, a mistake from the defenseman and turn around to be a 2-0. A breakaway by Italy, scored a goal 3-1, and then they come back with 3-2. But Italy, the host of the Olympics, won and beat the Japan, but they scored 3-2. It's fun. It's not like Laine Hudson, but my point behind that is like they have some kind of hockey knowledge, and they can know, the breakout, the DDD, and you can see they know the foundation of the hockey, and that's good to see that. I think it's good. The hockey is more popular left and right, and it's good to see those kind of country where it's not the top sport, in Italy and Japan. But it's good to see that, honestly, and it was fun to watch this game. I'm only watching other things like the news. Ron Wickings in the house tonight. Welcome back, Ron. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget, everybody, to click on the likes. And you are here, did not talk yet, so please say hi to us. If you have any question about anything, we are here, me and Mr. Tap, to answer to your question with the best we can. RJ Clabo is in the house also. Welcome back, RJ Clabo. Sorry, RJ. Other the fact I covered the Olympics, RJ is quiet. Now the NFL is over. And we see Sauvageau is in charge of the Italy hockey team, by the way, Daniel Sauvageau. And talking about that, Pierre W, this is a 2 French-Canadian guy behind the bench. Eric Tremblay is behind the bench on this one. So we have to see about that. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, of course. And tonight, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about this. Mr. Tap, I know you didn't do the headlines tonight, but I did one for all of you guys. So we're going to watch mine and then talking about this. I would like to hear your impression about what I did tonight about my headlines, if I can find it. There we go. Fix it. Because this is over, ladies and gentlemen. With all the respect, I know Patrik Laine is in the house. He will tell me exactly a power play, what he bring on the table, everything like that. But I think, Mr. Tap, this is over. I think right now, it's a Kent Hughes need to fix this situation about Patrik Laine. With all the respect for Patrik Laine, what he did accomplish, unfortunately, injuries bother him with the Montreal Canadiens the first year. He got hurt in October, I believe, for exhibition game against Toronto, and then he came back in December. He did very well on power play. He struggled on 5-on-5. We know his story last season. Then this year, he came back, play 5 game and outsend that. Now he tried to come back in the lineup. And I think where we at right now and what we have and how they play, and maybe he can bring something minor, maybe, or something on the power play. But I think right now it would be benefit for both parties, for Patrik Laine and for the Montreal Canadiens to split, to separate themselves, find a way to satisfy both parties. And I think Ken Hughes would treat the player very well. But and I know the heart of Patrik Laine or the family of the Patrik, his wife and him want to maybe stay in Montreal Canadiens. But I think right now where we are, sometime the time tell us, and I think it would be the time right now for them to split each other and to move on. And with all the respect, I have no problem about Patrik Laine. He tried his best. This is a title player who he is, and I think at the end of the day, as a fans, I would said good luck, and I wish the best for him, whatever he wants to do in hockey. But I think, Mr. Tap, this is my feeling about Patrik Laine right now.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said there, Coach. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when you consider when they picked them up versus where we're at now as a hockey team, they're different stages, right? We've been talking about roster construction for a while. Now that the rebuild is, I hate to use the word over because that implies a certain finality. And I personally, when I think of a rebuild, there's more to it than just, you know, starting right from scratch and building up. Like it has to be a continual process where you're still drafting players, developing players, you're making trades to fill in gaps that you need. But point being here, he definitely had a spot on the team when he first came over. They picked him up for a particular reason. He definitely helped out. Was very effective, especially on at a time when the power play was not at its best. But at this point, it's changed. Montreal is very much transition speed. They've improved on their 5-on-5 play, and those are all areas that I just don't see where Liney fits into the mix at this stage. So you're right that I think Hughes will take very good care of him. But we even saw this weekend there was a on the X account of Liney's wife. There was a hint there that she's very curious in terms of where their lives will end up in terms of destination. So uh, obviously, there's been conversation from the management with Line, and they're going to try to accommodate it to the point where I'm hearing 50% retention of his salary. And one of the teams I'm hearing very loudly right now is Carolina. So he can rejoin two of his best friends, Nicholas Ehlers and Sebastian Aho. And that would make for a very effective line.
I don't think so. I disagree. I know this is coming from Marco D'Amico, but
Yeah.
I don't think so. It does not fit on the system of Robert Brandamo, in my opinion. I'll be shocked they go there. I know they have money, everything like that, but I don't think it would be the piece of what they are missing to go the next level or the next playoff stage, everything like that. Because I think for me, the title play could be good in Carolina, that's on top, if they want to go in the top 6. And I just make a name right here. And it's a title player like Barbashev example with Vegas, like a top 6, aggressive, physical. I think a Blake Coleman could be a good asset for Carolina Hurricane, or he fit in the mold of what Ron Brandon will bring. I just feel disconnect when they talk about them, about this. I think a team like Vancouver, maybe not Vancouver, Calgary, Chicago, I think they have money on the table right now, and they just want to get asset with that. That's why we have maybe could they give them a pick in return or a prospect with Patrik Laine. That would be that kind of player. Or a team want to make maybe the playoff, like the Kraken example. If I did not check the Kraken salary cap, but a team like that, that's maybe
They
want
have
to
room.
add something at the last minute to the rest to make a push in the playoff, maybe. But I understand it's not against Marco D'Amico, by the way. It's just I don't see
Yeah,
fit there.
yeah. I mean, I could see that. I'm just sort of relaying,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things that are out there and what I've heard. I mean, LA. I've heard LA. I've even heard Winnipeg, uh, but I just don't see that particular mix. I mean, if they can put him in the West, that's always better. But
Yeah.
I think they'll look first at what he wants, and if they can
But I think like
accommodate
the
it,
Rangers miss on tap. We just talk about this, right? I know we don't trade Gordon with the Rangers and this and that, but
no.
I think like Rangers right now they try to get asset. They said maybe a second one pick, whatever it is, with Liney, and that's it. That's all. Roger asked, Cole, is it a pro rate contract at this retaining or is annual salary? Roger, that's a
The
good
annual
question.
salary. I believe it's the annual salary, if I'm not mistaken.
Its annual salary go on the salary cap, honestly, and they pay only what they
Yeah,
have to pay for the rest of the season, Roger. Donc, your question, it makes sense, right? But we'll
yeah,
see. Carrier cannot score in the playoff. Alani could score goal in a couple of close games for Carolina, pushing them further in the playoff. I don't think so in 26. It's not because they did not score. It's they are not aggressive. They are not physical. If you look about what they have at the top, every year. It's not Jarvis, it's not Stankoven, it's not Ao, it's not Chevnikov. They need physicality. The bottom six, you have only one line with Martinuk in the time, right? But they had
yeah.
Teravainen before that. He was there. And he's going, they never have a power forward like Kachuk or Wilson. We know we sing the same name, but that's what I'm talking about. I think for me, this is what they are missing there. The physicality of the game over there. At the defense, they never been very physical there. They have Chatfield really there. Now they have Miller, but Miller maybe brings some kind of size. The goaltender is pretty good this year with Bossy. But the goaltending has never been big at the big moment like Anderson for the last couple of years in the playoff, everything. I think for me, Carolina is missing more the physicality of the game, the forechecking they like to do, but they have to be more aggressive on the top six for me about that.
Yeah,
And I don't know if
it's
the pressure, like how everybody is struggling on the playoff, missing on top, but this is something they have to pick it up.
well. The thing with Carolina is, I could see your point, and they try to bring that physicality to their game, but they just don't have the personnel to really follow through on that. So I see that point. But the other issue, and the reason why they haven't been able to get out of multiple rounds in the playoffs, is the fact that they're a team that's extremely hard to play against if they get the lead early in the game. They dictate the play. They're very 200 feet oriented team. They play very good both ways on both ends of the ice. But if they fall behind, that's been their Achilles heel. It's hard for them to come behind, especially if you contain their first line with Aho.
Now, a good point about that. I will say to you also, sometime it could happen with the Montreal Canadiens guys in the future, or sometime, guys, the time the team is good or they're looking good, right? They always face the team cannot beat. Like if you think about this, Carino, in the last 5 years, he's been on the third round every year. But the last couple of years, they meet always Florida
Yeah,
and they meet always Tampa Bay. And the other two teams are more aggressive and more physical and more play again the
yeah,
team like Canada. So to jump, it's a little bit like Dallas, Mr. Dallas go there, but when they hit the third round, they cannot beat the Pacific Division, Edmonton, a couple of years, and Vegas before that. So they have to figure out that for sure. It's not like a round about that, but I just feel away. Well, what Cassette was for the Pittsburgh third line is not getting Montreal anything better for the playoff. Did the new salary cap playoff rule kind of help go again? Uh, don't pay the tax. Ron,
I
you
don't
talk
think so.
about did you see this question? Did the new salary cap playoff rule kind of help or go against the state who they don't pay the tax?
I think still it's in favor of the states that don't have taxes, and in terms of attracting the players. As far as I know, there isn't anything in place to counteract that, so that it makes the availability to other teams a little bit more um, attractive for players.
Yeah, at
I
the end
don't
of the
see that.
day, Mr. Natap, the salary cap or what the new salary cap of the playoff just square everything on the same level. That's what happening. So it's not about the state the tax, it's more about the cheating behind the door. What they don't cheating. They use the rule properly the right way to take advantage, like they put a player on the long-term injury reserve, and then they bring him back at the playoff, and now it does not count. So they cannot do it anymore. That's the one thing. The only thing you have to do now, it's more difficult for the team, is the players if they put him on the roster or not. Because if they put him on the roster for the playoff, they count this salary cap inside of the salary cap. They cannot remove him on the during season and then put him back on the playoff because now the salary cap going to be ejected over. So this is the only thing they have to pay attention more. The team will be very interesting. We know Petrangelo in Vegas, Barkov in Florida. And with that, Mr. Enartab disappear. Hopefully, he's going to be back in the next couple of minutes, guys, to get there. We have need to finish at the top three to get home on the first round. Uh, yes, and not really, Roger, because the first position going to play against the wild card. So 1 versus 8. If you have 4 teams on the Atlantic, if you have 4 teams in the Metropolitan. That said, Mr. Roger, if they finish second, if you did not miss anything, Mr. Natap, about that, I know you went to the restroom, you come back, but that's no big deal about that. But Roger, if they finish second, they take advantage. If you have 14 Atlantic, if they finish third, they don't take advantage of that for that situation. So they have to finish 1 and 2 to be on the home advantage on the first round. I guess I said that since you cannot just sign big contract all the time, and you have to make sure you have salary cap complaint with the right amount of players. Yeah, take a note, guys, for the salary cap, also for the players. It's not only one number. What happening, guys? If you have every game, they are calculate differently. So one day you can get $95.5 million, and then the next day it could be 94.6, and then the next day it could be 96.3, everything like that. What you have to do is to be sure the amount equal the full salary cap of the 20 player on the roster at the end of the day. So that's only thing. It's a change, honestly, the fastest to get there. And it's news, Mr. Tap, you're going to say, Coach, we don't hear anything. You're absolutely about that. So I'm going to bring you to another way, Mr. Tap, on this one. There's friendly rumor around the NHL, guys. And let's talk about the trade deadline, what happening. You have the New York Rangers not done yet. And I think, Mr. Tap, and for people that chat, let's talk about the Rangers for 1-2 minutes. Who do you think they can trade now? They trade already Panarin a
Yeah.
couple of days ago, and they trade before that during the last couple of months. Creator, Truba, and Goodrow, and everything else. Now they still have Zibanejad, Miller, Trocheck. They trade Miller, by the way. And what do you expect could be out very soon?
Well, it's such a mess in New York. It's not even funny in my opinion. I think that when we talk about how to how to do a roster rebuild and reconstruction. It, New York is not the model to go after. I think it's important that at the top, the management has to be in place that is conducive for that type of job. In terms of what they can trade right now, I mean, Zibanejad's not going anywhere. He's made that obviously clear to everybody. He likes where he's at. I think he's thinking from a family perspective, doesn't want to go anywhere. You have the possibility of maybe Vincent Trocheck could be a piece that goes to a team just before the trade deadline, and I think he would be a very good acquisition for somebody, especially somebody that brings a little bit physicality, can score, is pretty good on the faceoffs. He's going to definitely be an asset for the team that picks him up.
Good point, Mr. Nata. Before you go, I'm
Yeah.
going to add you one thing, but I want to welcome back Dan Hashem, Colette Hashem, and KQ is in the house. Long time, Mr. KQ. I don't know what's going on with you, but always a pleasure. And in 26, we'll already
Welcome.
talked to you, but welcome back in 26. I want to bring something about Trocheck. That's what I didn't want to cut you, but I want to add that question. Two teams come in my head. Carolina Hurricane, Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, personally, I think Minnesota Wild is the team that is hungry for him, and it would solve an issue for them, because I think down the middle they're looking to solidify that, and I think he fits into that system very, very well. Not that he wouldn't in Carolina. I think he would as well, but I think a better fit is the Wild for me.
Yep, I agree with you about that for sure.
Now, the interesting thing, Coach, just going back to New York, I don't know what approach they're going to take right now. I mean, you look at what they have in terms of assets, and there's still some assets there. Especially on they got a couple on defense. They have, of course, probably one of the best goalies in the league in Shesterkin, who signed a long-term contract. So I think everything has to revolve about building around Shesterkin at this stage, and making sure that your defense is built, and moving forward from that. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach this. But right now, like I said before, I think it's quite the mess there, and they're going to have to clear it up quite quickly.
Ron asked if the letter to through cannot hurt the teams, and team cannot know how to weight them with certain players. I think they upset the fans more to anything else, Ron. I think before they send the letter, they should be explained to the players, explain to what's going on. But I think the fans at the Madison Square Garden, they want a good team. And to go that direction for the second time in the last couple of years, that's not what they're looking for. So maybe they get that one over there. For this one. On this one, a long time back more now with Olympics. Great to hear that. My friend Yuck cannot trade everyone. They still need to raise the cap floor for sure. Honestly, about that, I agree with you. In 26. Now the Sailor, you expect some other move or other team. I put most important. I could put also Chicago there. Vancouver, Calgary, the Blues. We know the Vancouver trade. A couple of players like Quinn Hughes, Calgary are looking maybe to make more move. What do you expect from the three team? Do you have a specific team you maybe go sell more?
I think for sure Calgary and Vancouver now they've sort of step forward already. The problem is St. Louis. We have no idea what's going on right there. There's a lot of rumors, about guys like Thomas and Kyrou and Pareko, and possibly even Bennington being on the move. I think that they're at a point where if they get the right kind of deal for especially somebody like Thomas, I think that they'll keep an open mind to that.
I don't think so,
we'll make
Mr.
the
Tap.
trade.
It
But
for
I
me,
don't think anything's going to happen.
yeah, I'm sorry to cut you, but I don't think so. Thompson go nowhere. Like it will be shocked. This is a kind of trait like Robinson during the summer, or that kind of player. Like they talk about this, but it never happened. I don't see. 26 years old, $8 million. The contract is perfect. The years is perfect. Uh, I don't see that. Uh, a player over 30 years old, a burning shine, a Perenko, a Bennington, Justin Falk, uh, uh, maybe Kiro because he has some kind of the open space over there, but I don't see the trade Robert Thomas. It just not make sense to me.
No, I mean, you would think it's foolish because that's a guy you want to sort of build around. So I tend to agree from that perspective. But you know what they say, sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire, and you're hearing it left and right. I just think that they're not keeping anything off the table here. I think they'll listen to offers, and if it's something that makes sense, then of course they're going to to try to move it, but only if it makes sense for the team, right? If it improves them, or puts them a step ahead of where they're at right now. So we'll see. I tend to agree. I don't think he's going to move, but definitely the other two teams, Vancouver and Calgary, I think they're both trying to get rid of a couple pieces that are there that are sort of onerous on their cap space, but also don't fit into a rebuild situation right now.
I agree with you about that. Welcome back, Mr. Garrett C. from Winnipeg. He's in the house tonight. I want to hear a little bit more, Mr. Renartap, about some things. Let's focus on the Atlantic deadline, Buffalo, Detroit, Boston, Mr. Renartap. But before that, if you don't mind, I want to jump in on the standing. We're not going to be there. We're going to be behind the graphic, if you don't mind. You can see in the Metropolitan, Mr. Renartap, Hurricanes 78, Pittsburgh 70, Islanders 69, 65 Columbus, Washington, Philadelphia 61, 58 Devils, and Rangers 50. We did with Marco a couple of days ago. What is the surprise return? That I don't want to get there yet with you because I have other questions for you. So stay with me. Tampa Bay 78, Montreal and Detroit 72, Buffalo 70, Boston 69, Ottawa and Toronto 63, and the Florida Panthers are at 61. That said, let's go now on the Central Division. Colorado 83, the only team over 80 points right now. 78, 77, Dallas, Minnesota. Utah 64, Nashville 59, and then at the bottom, Chicago 53, and Winnipeg 52. And finally, Mr. the Vancouver Canucks at the bottom of the Pacific at 42, following by the Calgary Flames 52, and then San Jose Kings 58, 60, 63, 63, Kraken Ducks, Edmonton 64, and the Golden Knight guys at 68. That said, Mr. Tap, let's go back where we're supposed to be here at the NHL. I want to focus on the Atlantic Division. I want to everybody know on the both sides, and maybe I have a question for the conference on the Western after that. Yeah. But let's see again the Atlantic Division where you have Tampa Bay 78, Montreal, Detroit 72, and then you have the following Boston, Buffalo. I apologize, Buffalo, Boston, and then you have Toronto, Ottawa together, and the Florida Panthers. The trade deadline is coming, everybody. They're going to have 3 more games, and then the deadline is there. You have a game the March 6th. You have some team play the 6th, so maybe they have 4 games. But at the end of the day, Mr. Tap, we have to pay attention more. The Detroit, the Buffalo, and the Boston Bruins at the Atlantic Division. For me, it's no matter for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are out, in my opinion, on that race. But with a deadline, what do you expect for those 3 teams? Do you see one of the 10 moving? Do you see the main push harder to get there? Because we'll talk about Montreal later, so I don't want to put Montreal on that sentence right now. So let me know what you think about those 3 teams.
Well, Coach, when you look at the entire East Conference, I think it's pretty obvious that you're going to get 5 teams coming out of the Atlantic and 3 out of the Metropolitan. So those teams that are in the Atlantic, and okay, I agree with you. Maybe Tampa Bay wins the division, but then you have Montreal, you have Detroit, you have Buffalo, you have Boston, and I would still keep Ottawa in the mix there. I think they're not. I know they're about 6 or 7 points behind a playoff spot, but I think that if they get healthy, they can be a force to be reckoned with as well. So those teams are looking. You're looking for Montreal, Detroit, Buffalo, and Boston and Ottawa to get the remaining 4 spots that are there. So are they going to look for players? I'd be shocked if they didn't. And we've discussed a few of the players already earlier. Um, it's definitely something that they're going to have to explore. But here's the issue: when you look at the NHL, I mean, there's many teams that are still, if you want to call it, in the mix in terms of getting into a wild card position, both in the East and the West. So there's very few sellers, and so when that's the case, you're either going to pay a king's ransom to try to get the player you want from a team that's selling, because there aren't enough sellers out there and most teams are going to be buyers, or you're just going to leave it alone. And I, unless you get a hockey trade being made, I don't really see. I don't really see a lot of movement at trade deadline time. That's the issue. If there was more supply, I would say for sure all the teams are going to try to bolster their roster, but it's going to be very hard to make a good hockey trade at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Detroit would push hard to get something. I think they would like to get a little bit more another defenseman physicality on the back, right? For sure, they would like to get another more an experience more on the experience. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I know they have comfort, a cup, everything like that, but they're looking for maybe like a Brendan Shine from the St. Louis Blues.
St.
Uh,
Louis, yeah.
yeah, I think that would be some kind of player they're looking for. And they have, if you look about the 3 team, I think Detroit have the best pipeline. Still have a lot of players in the pipeline to trade for something they're looking for. Not only for the rest of the season, but a bit more longer. I think Detroit are advanced. Buffalo have it, but Buffalo is stuck a little bit with the situation with Alex Stock, example, Mr. Tap. They are his final year contract. I don't see Buffalo make a big move over there. Boston, you never know. Boston, they always, they trade last year. They bounced back after they trade Marchand. Good for them. McEnroy looking good. Swimmer looking good. Kiki looking good. They have a better team what we expect. And I think you would like to have a bottom 6 because I think the cost would be too high for them to go on the top 6. And I think there will be more at that area. They would like to bring someone over there. So it will be very interesting for that, Mr. Tap, for the Boston Bruins. Detroit, like I mentioned to you, I still believe Ottawa have a lot of great analytic number. If you look about the analytic, Mr. Tap, they should be on the top of the Atlantic zone, the top 3. They are not there. I think that will come where they are right now is because the performance of the goaltender make them where they are with no goaltender, with Ilmark, everything like that. Because if they have just a good one, not a great one, a good one, I think they will be right there with the Montreal and the Detroit with everything like that. So I don't want to discount them out, but they will have to be sure the goaltending perform for them for Ottawa Senator for sure. David Luttrell is back with us tonight. David, glad to hear from you, my friend. Cab back out. One is the Team Connect first game. A good question. Cab, it's the Thursday, the 12th. We're going to go through this, the next segment. Cab, I have all the information, guy. I have the schedule, the preview, everything set up for all of you. good question, guys. And go from there. Mr. Santos, I'm going to go on the Western Conference right now. Minnesota,
Yeah.
Dallas, Seattle, Utah, Anaheim. Why? We good split on two groups. Let's talk about the Minnesota and Dallas first. They are right now on the fight, like a dog fight right now between the Minnesota and the Dallas. If I want to have my to be a bad guys, I would say they are right now on the dog fight. Michael Vick, but that's another story for another time. Minnesota and Dallas, Minnesota.
Well,
Dallas,
it definitely looks like the two of them, right? Minnesota and Dallas to meet up again. But you know what? I'm not gonna. I know Colorado has, I think, 3 games in hand on Minnesota, but the first
6 point.
game back, yeah, 6 points could be a lot. But right now they just trail them by 5 points, and the first game back after the Olympics is between Colorado and Minnesota. So if they can somehow chop that down, I wouldn't discount Minnesota making a run to try to win the division. I don't think that they'll be successful, but Minnesota and Dallas is it's always a dogfight, right? And I think Minnesota has always found themselves on the outside, looking in. They haven't had a lot of playoff success, especially in the first round. So are they going to try to bolster their team? We talked about earlier somebody like a Trocheck fitting into that system. I think that would be a very good pickup. I think that they have two very good goaltenders that will hold the fort for them the rest of the way. So we'll see where it goes from here. But it's unfortunate that we're going to get one of these two teams kicked out in the first round, right? Yet again.
That was the problem, but not a problem. This is what happening there, guys. This is going to be the best first round. At least Florida, Tampa, the Panthers play the Lightning, but otherwise, this is going to be one of the best. We're going to
It's a
follow
dogfight.
that playoff, guys, all the way about that for sure. Mr. Star, back in the house. Welcome back, Star. Thanks to be with us. A couple of questions for David. I try to answer to you in the chat. Look, I think Minnesota is not over yet. Like N26 talk about Jacob Robinson. I don't think so. They will negotiate that contract until the end of the summer. I don't think so. They will have something there. But at the end of the day, Dallas looking a player on the right defenseman, more physical. I believe they would like to add maybe a center, like the Minnesota Wild are looking for a big center. I'll be shocked if Minnesota they cannot put all the dice on the table, where they at, and to realize, wait, we're still missing a couple of pieces of puzzle there. I think they will be aggressive to get a Trocheck, a Kadri. I think Kadri could be in Dallas, in my opinion. Burn and shine, the problem, can the Blues trade inside of their division? I'm not sure about that one over there.
That's tough.
But this is what I believe it could be. Now, you're going to have a super player like could go left and right. Mikheyev, example, Jason Dickinson for Chicago. I just mentioned that I got more free. Chicago have 7, 8 UFA players coming now, so they're going to get open door. But the other team like Vancouver, they trade Sherwood. Whether Vancouver are willing to trade Shedil, example. I think a Shedil with Kaprizov and Boldy, that would be amazing. He's still young, but the concussion is a problem. We see Vancouver and Minnesota trade before that. Those possibilities, guys, I don't see both of them quiet, Mr. Tad. They're going to hammer at some point at the trade deadline. Are you agree with me or not?
100%. I think that they realize that it's a very thin line between the two of them. It's one of those things that's more than likely going to come down to Game 7 when they play. And so, what's the difference? Is it's going to be maybe an acquisition that they make, right? And I think both of them will be busy on trade deadline time. They have some areas that they could address to improve their squads, and you mentioned some of those gaps for both teams, and I think it is something will emanate for both teams.
Good point about that. Now we have the second group, guys. The Seattle, the Utah, the Anaheim. That I grouped three of them. That remind me of that what's going on right now with Detroit, Buffalo, Islanders, or Pittsburgh. I did not talk enough about Pittsburgh and Islanders. We're going to come back later. Seattle, Utah, Anaheim. They are right there, Mr. Tap. They are in or they are almost in. And this is another three team are going to be maybe aggressive. Now, it's fun between that. Anaheim, they still rebuild. They still rebuild team, right? They just get out like Montreal Canadiens. It'll be the first time they're going to playoff. Utah, there's another rebuild team. Started with Arizona a couple of years ago, and now they attack more. They bring a lot of players over there to make it friends with them. How are they going to get there? We are there right now. And then Seattle, well, no expectation. They are in front of the Kings. And you thought they're going to drop, and they're still hanging there, and they're hanging there. Do you see what happening with them? I don't think the three team are going to make it. I'll be shocked. But what is your expectation on that one?
Yeah, I think for sure. Like when you look at Utah, their objective is obviously to make the playoffs. There's no question about it. They will make a move. They have a lot of cap space still on that team available to try to make something happen. And right now they're the first wild card team. I think they want to stay in that spot. I don't think anybody wants the second wild card team and have to play Colorado right off the bat. Speaking of the other two teams, I mean, you have Anaheim. You mentioned Seattle. Seattle's in a bit of a good situation right now because they happen to be in third place in the Pacific, and sort of it's very similar to what we're seeing with the Metro, right? If you can somehow sneak into that third spot, that guarantees you a playoff position and a decent one at that. I would not discount San Jose in this whole equation, and I think LA sort of um, let their ideas be known by going after somebody like Panarin that can hopefully be the missing point in terms of getting them into a playoff spot. The problem is, whoever finishes in third spot there, especially if it's LA. Guess who they're playing again? It's the Edmonton Oilers, and not
Yeah.
that the Oilers are at the same level. I don't think that they're yet at the same. They're not playing at the same level that they were the last couple years, but they're one of those teams that tends to get it together just around the playoff time, and then they make a strong push. So is adding somebody like Panarin enough to get LA over that hump called Edmonton? I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. But I think that there's too many teams in that mix to really predict where they're going to end up. But I definitely think Seattle, Anaheim, San Jose. I don't see Nashville as much. I know that they've made quite the push
But
and
they
have
are only
gotten
1 point
themselves.
behind that. If you consider
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Mr. Tap, I can go back
But
here.
I
But look,
think they're going to be more in a selling mode. That's I have nothing concrete to go by on that, but I think that that's the direction they want to go. I think it part of it has to do with the release of their GM. I think that has to plays into part of it because I think the objective of where they wanted to go is quite different than where they were at.
yeah, the only
So
problem I would say, Mr. Tap, is about the Ducks and the Kraken. The Kraken have only 27 wins, and the Ducks have 30 wins. So that's maybe a little bit like the Montreal that's happening right now. So they will have to be sure the content of the win and regular time will be better for them for sure for this one.
right.
So
So that's why that third spot in the Pacific is extremely important because it's if you happen to be if your regular wins in the season are not as high as everybody else, then that's one of the deciding factors. So you want to try to get that third spot in the Pacific.
Awesome. David, glad to hear that. Ron and N26, thanks for your conversation about that one. Did they get him hope to get Kopitar into the playoff? Don't get the Panarin trade, or does he have a much bigger role purpose about Panarin? Panarin have two things, guys. First of all, they bring where they're going to lose another player at the top six. So they lose capital, they bring a guy. So the money is not a problem for that situation. And we know Panarin what he can bring. It's constantly 1 point per game, everything like this. They are not far to be in the playoff. We just talk about this. So I'm sure Ken Holland and the organization want to make the playoff. So I think this is one reason to push for the playoff. And then long term, or at least a middle term, they got Panarin for that reason. And the cost was not too high for them in return for that. Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Hunter, we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's see about the Montreal guys. Thanks again to be with us. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. So we're going to go a little bit, another review quick before we go to the Olympics. Then we have the clash for all of you guys tonight. And I want to talk about the Montreal return on February 17 for everybody who want to ask when they come back. They're going to have a mini camp, training camp, honestly. Why? Because they're going to be all together, each NHL team for a minimum of 1 week. Some of them start to play the 26th and then the 27th, 28th. And that's happening, guy, for the Montreal Canadiens. Nothing huge over there. And we have to wait what's going on. Possible Alexis Hook maybe come in the roster a little bit earlier what they expected. But they cannot make any trade until the February at the end of the day at midnight, the 22nd. So can we talk about Patrik Laine a bit early? So that's the reason behind if we're going to make a trade on that. But I want to focus on setup about your prediction. And after we're going to hear more about the schedule for Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens guys have 25 more games to play until the end of the season. 13 at home, 12 on the road. 19 of the 25 are on the Eastern Conference. 19 of them. 6 against the Western. Now, they have only 7 of the 19 games on the Atlantic Division, and 2 of the 7 are again the Tampa Bay Lightning. That gave them 5. And then you have Ottawa, you have Detroit, you have Panthers, and Boston, I believe. So that's pretty much what they got. Now they are 12 against the Central Division guys. 12. They did not play any game yet against the New York Islanders. 3 of them. We know Islanders are not a bad team. It's on top. They are a really good team. 2 against the Carolina Hurricanes. They beat them 4-3 this year, but still at the top of the division. They still had 2 games against the Devils. We know 2 games against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So if you think about this, I know Columbus and the New Jersey are not great, but Columbus is on the stretch of 11 at the last 2 games with a W. It's not easy. On the Western Conference, Mr. on top, they have 2 games to play on the 6th. San Jose and Anaheim twice. They did not play any game against them. So that gave them only 2 more games on the Western Conference, 4 of the 6 against them. We know San Jose, we know Anaheim, so this can be good for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I want to give a little bit more deeper, Mr. on top. 5 again, back-to-back game this year. 5 of them they're going to get, and they are 5 at least 3 games and 4 nights. So the schedule is not easy. One of the top 7 worst difficult season. Finally, Mr. Hunter, before you move on, Atlantic, they are 10-9-1. They are right now 7 games. But the Metropolitan is not easy this year. They are only 3-4-5. They get points, but not easy. We know what's happening with the Pittsburgh Penguins, honestly. But the Metropolitan Division, Mr. Hunter, they are going to play 12 games. And we know, again, we just talked about Islanders, Carolina. They lead the division Metropolitan. On the Central, the record was 10-2-2, and the Pacific guys 9-0. Again, the Western guys this year, they are 19-4-2. this is the reason why they are where they are right now, and they have to be better or the Atlantic Division me semble tape. So, on a review of what's coming for the Montreal Canadiens, what are your expectations? What the Montreal Canadiens have to do? At least they're going to give a minimum 5 game at Montembeau on the 25. That would give them, I think they're going to finish with maybe 17-9 or 17-8 or 16-9. I think will be the rest of the season for the goaltending situation.
Well, as you could see, they feasted on the Western teams, and I think that that's, as you put it, the big reason why they are where they are right now. The other thing I would pay attention to is the fact that they've been equally as good on the road as they have at home. They have 16 wins on the road, 16 at home. The only big difference is really away. They've had some overtime games, and at home, there's a little bit more regular season losses than there are on the road. So they're well balanced from that perspective. Now, what do they need? It's obvious. Like I think last year, this is one area where I know you did a comparison a couple of weeks ago about how Montreal was performing with different divisions and different teams, like you have here. And one area that they haven't improved on is their record against the Atlantic Division teams. Even though it's 10-9-1, these are going to be 4-point games. And since you're going to more than likely have 5 teams coming out of the Atlantic in the Eastern Conference, you have to win these games. And we saw earlier in the season, they lost 2 out of 3 to Buffalo. Not a desirable outcome. Detroit's still coming up. We have a couple there. Boston, we let one slip away as well, 1 point there. So you got I think you're going to have the Leafs coming up twice more, if I'm not mistaken.
1 game, Toronto.
Oh, just one more?
Yeah. Okay. It's only 2 games, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay you have 2. So you have to try to get these 4-pointers. That's going to be the key, because if you don't, it's these teams that are taking a step over you, even if it's just 1 point, and it's hard to come back from that because there's so much parity and so much congestion right now for those 2 wild card spots. So you want to position yourself in such a way that the wild card doesn't become the issue. It's can you finish, second or third in your division, and that puts you in a much more preferred position. So for me, it's going to be how well do they do against the Atlantic Division teams. If they can hold their own on that and go, over 500, definitely. But they're going to have to get their points from those teams.
Yeah, you're absolutely about that. I think for me, Montreal should be out about 30 points, 33, 4 points, in my opinion. That would give them about 95 to 100 of the thing. I think for me right now, it's my point behind that is they're going to make the playoff. No doubt, for me, this already done on my head. They going to make the playoff. Now it's to see how they're going to play again the next. But I don't think so. They're going to be struggling a lot. I think they'll be fine. I think a 32 point on the 25 minimum, because it's a 500, right? A 32 point, mais on top with 72. I gave them 105. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely room for them to, go on minor slumps if they did and not be hurt. But I think at this stage, they've built up a lot. They banked a lot of points from the West, and that's great. But now you have to turn your attention to teams that are in your own division, and I think that that's where the difference will be made. Now, you heard. I heard Pierre Maguire also say that one of the key things to look out for, teams that definitely make the playoffs are the ones that have minimum of 250 goals for, and Montreal is in a good position. They're already at 199. So they've positioned themselves well. They just have to ensure that they stay true to their game. And if they can get, I'm not saying excellent goaltending, but they can get decent goaltending from Dobesh and even Montebo to back him up. I think that they will be fine too. Like it's going to be more a question of, you know, are they able to stay in second or third place in the division, or are they going to get a wild card?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be shocked they don't make it, but I think overall, the Montreal is a good position, Miss Tap, to finish strong and then to get that position. And like I said last week, you're not there, but we said for me the rebuild is over if they go back to back on the playoff. Miss Tap, before we go move on the Olympics, we're going to give you another question for you. What's next for Kent Hughes? We talked already about Patrik Laine, so I'm not going to come back about Patrik Laine. It was my headline for the show tonight. So we're going to fix this already out. Kent Hughes, during an interview, I don't know where, he said, I love my team. I love this team. I really like what we are. We like the progression. I like the improvement. We like the development, everything like that. And so my first question before we go in the summertime, do you expect Montreal to make a move at the trade deadline?
I think they've been true to what they've said, both Hughes and Gordon. To be honest with you, Coach, they said that if the right type of deal comes along that fits the mold of what they're trying to build, they won't hesitate. And I think that they have the pieces to pull off a good trade, a good hockey trade. But they won't mortgage their youth or their future to try to improve their situation standing wise by a little bit, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. And if there's one mistake that many teams make, they start off the process properly in terms of a rebuild, and then they feel like, let's go and make a couple splashes. We've seen it in the past with teams like Ottawa. We've seen it with Buffalo as well to a lesser degree. I mean, Toronto's been doing that for ages, trying to fill in the gap, and then what ends up happening is you give up assets that you will never get back, and you have an empty cupboard with no draft picks or very few, especially higher pick ones. Your prospects become very thin, so your pipeline is compromised. So if those pickups you make don't don't work out, and I'd say in 90% of the cases they never do, all right? Because general managers, they tend to panic around trade deadline time, and they pay a king's ransom to try to get certain players. And I think we're going to see it again this year. And the majority of times it just doesn't work out. So I think that they're very patient, Montreal is. And if something makes sense for the good of the team that fits within the structure that they're trying to establish, they're going to pull the trigger. If not, then it's something that they'll look over in the summer.
Yeah, good point about that. I think you're absolutely right. I think they'll be quiet more and more. Expect at least something show up, an opportunity for them, but I don't think so. I think they will be very quiet. The Montreal Canadiens, they're going to go with what they have and go from there. Now, some of Minnesota will give you a lot of name there. Montreal could be Doc, Zachary Bolduc, Albert Jekai. And Laval, Roy, Farrell, Trudeau, Kidney, Talk, Davidson, et Blais. They are all RFA, honestly. The only one is UFA is Blais. What do you think Montreal is going to do with those kind of contract? Do you expect resign, offer a deal, or they just let it go, or maybe trade them?
Yeah, I mean that's always a possibility. Like I said, they have the assets to package some players or some picks or a combination to get or fill in a gap that's desperately needed. and of course that would be a 2C, possibly even a stay-at-home, big, rugged defenseman on the right side, preferably. But we'll wait and see if that happens. I don't think that they'll give up on Bolduc. I think that they know he's also very young, and that's what we forget. He's a very young hockey player as well, and so don't confuse the fact that right now he doesn't seem to. I mean, lately he's picked it up a little bit, but he doesn't seem to fit in any particular line that he plays in. This guy will come around, and he will be a definite asset for Montreal in the future. So I don't expect anything to materialize with Bolduc. Doc's the interesting one for me, right? Because he's now showing that he's exactly the type of individual player, size wise, and the fact that he's on the wing, I think benefits him as well, rather than at center. And he's on that first line, and he seems to be working out well with them. I think even though they have a preliminary idea of what they might do with Doc, I think they're still going to use the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months, to reevaluate exactly where he could fit in, and if he doesn't, then he'll be gone. Jack, I mean, I think you know where I stand with him. These are the type of players that Montreal needs to acquire to be successful in the playoffs. Now, you can tell me, yes, he's not at the level of many defensemen, and I won't disagree with that, but he's going to bring a dimension that Montreal desperately needs when it comes to the playoffs. And we're not talking about fighting, we're talking about bringing a little bit of physicality, moving somebody out of in front of the net, and just making sure that they do what they have to do to ensure that they're successful. And I think if that's one thing at trade deadline time that Montreal is looking for, I don't expect a big deal or a big splash, but I do expect maybe some minor trade being made where they bring in some of that ruggedness that is so desperate, and size that is so desperately needed for Montreal to be successful moving forward. Like right now, yes, they do have a couple of players that fit that mold, but they need more to be successful in the playoffs. They need size. They need, somebody with grit. They need somebody that maybe has a little bit of experience being successful in the playoffs. Maybe has won a cup. And the problem is the list for those kind of players is very thin, right?
No, you're right about that, for sure. By the way, guys, Marie Poulain got hurt today for Team Canada, so he is
Yeah.
questionable for tomorrow. About that again, Team USA. So just take a note about that situation. Look, that problem is like he's at 3.4, $3.5 million. You have to add the 10%, so he's going to be at almost $4 million for that. I think they're going to sign him for 1 year, Mr. Atap.
They could. They could. I mean, it'll depend on Doc in terms of
Well, I think
how
it could be
desperately
two
does he
years,
want to
but
stay
I
in
think 1 year
Montreal.
will be the deal they're going to offer him about that. I think 2 years will be another deal, but I think that will be. I
At
think
what
at $4 million,
what amount?
Mr. Atap, is not cost too much.
You think they'll keep him at 4?
What they have to, he will maybe ask more, but he have no leverage to ask a lot of more. He did not play game.
But that's my point. Is 4 too much? Maybe.
No, not at all. Not at
Mm.
all. Not at all.
It's like you said. What leverage does he have, Coach? He has absolutely zero leverage.
But he cannot go lower. You cannot offer him 3 million.
Well, you think a team out there will take a gamble at more than 4?
But he cannot. He
I
is
don't think so.
RFA.
Right. So I don't know. I don't see him. I don't know. It's hard. I'd like to see him work out on that first line and really become the person that sort of digs out the puck in the corners, sets up the other two, and I think he has that capability and that potential. Um, but it's got to be, if they re-sign him, it's got to be the term has to be low, because and he's got to stay healthy. Like that's his in his entire career. That's been his biggest nemesis, right? It's trying to stay healthy. You know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, whatever he's not playing, he's hurt. It's not help. You know what I mean? It's not like hurt the Montreal Canadiens if he's going
No,
on
it
the.
does. It does, coach. It does because I mean, you take somebody out of there, now you start playing with the chairs, right? And you put somebody in the first spot that maybe
No, he's
doesn't
not. No, he's not going to
necessarily.
be on the first spot. He's going to be at the bottom. It was going to be at the third line. He's not going to be at the first line.
And what are they going to put up first on the first
They're
line
going
on
to
the
trade
wing?
for a winger. They're going to Montreal Canadiens have to get
Uh,
a top six this summer.
well, yeah, yeah,
They
I
have
agree
to.
with
They
that.
have no doubt. They have to go there. They cannot go with Doc next season with the same top six they have right now. They have to go to the next level. They fixed Dobson, right? They fixed the right defenseman. Now they have to fix the top six, and
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and
that's the reason
it's
I
a.
said that for me. That for me at the bottom six, it would take the spot like example like Gallagher example.
But if that's their intention, then I think they let Doc go. That's what's going to happen. I
But
don't see him necessarily sticking around if he's not in his mind. They're not a he's not a top six player.
But we'll see.
I
Like
don't
right
see it.
now, he's looking good. Yeah, 5.5 game. Like
He's looking good.
since he's
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
he does something where they have to be like that. The time will tell us what is going to be. I think the end of the month, or then the last next 25 game will tell us a bit more. RDP will come back in the house.
that's exactly it.
For the
That's
rest,
exactly
guys,
it.
I think the only player they're going to get out is really Kidney. They're going to offer. Blake could be another place if you want to get somewhere else. But Davidson going to resign. Luke Tuck, we're going to resign. Trudeau is going to resign. Farrell is going to resign. Joshua we're going to resign. At least they can to if they want to go play in Europe or something like that. I think Montreal Canadiens want to keep the Laval compete every year right now, at least for the next 3 years, and go from there. On that one, that was a huge part of the 5 game power forward. On that one, Montreal have enough bottom six, yeah, but they're going to disappear a lot next season, guys. If you look about what they have Newhook, right? They have Gallagher, Anderson, Dano,
Yeah,
right there, Jake Evans, all right? They are and budget. That's six right there. Now you have to add that number seven right there. But at some point, you cannot keep Gallagher, Dano, and Anderson all three the next 2 years. They will have to make some modification. I don't see Dak is the piece of the puzzle. I think for me, they will wait one more year and to see again with that. At the bottom six, Dak, he fit very well, in my opinion, for them. But at some point, Villeneuve should not be there. Gallagher should not be there. And then I missed him under the one, should not be there. And I think that's what we're going to try going to figure out that one for the next couple of weeks. Let's move on, if you don't mind, about the. I think I have another one. No, I'm going to get that a little bit later. Let's go on the preview of the Olympic, Mr. Tap. That was my point here. And give you a little bit more what's going on. Guys, this is a small. I apologize for the phone. If you're on your phone, just listen because you cannot find the name. It will be too terrible. I have to put all the name on the on this one, and I have no choice. That's the only one I feel like I have no choice. I know it's not up. It's not difficult for all of you guys. We're going to compare Team Canada, Team USA, Team Finland, then Sweden. Look, the rest of the team, I'm going to talk about them. We're going to talk about fun players they play for them, but not much, honestly. I have the schedule after that. And we're going to talk a little bit more the preview of the men Olympic, guys. First of all, Mr. Tap, Team Canada. Bennett, Celebrini, Crosby, Brandon Eagle, Bob O'Rat, Zeb Jarvis, McKinnon, Marchand, Marner, McDavid, Reynard, Stone, Zuski, and Tom Wilson. That's pretty heavy. Drew
yes,
Doughty, Harley, McCall, Morrissey, Parinko, Sanham, Theodore, Taze, and then the goaltender Bennington, Crumper, and Thompson. Now, they start to practice the last yesterday, and you get some line, and the people was excited to see McKinnon, to see Suzuki at the top with other players, with McKinnon, everything, and that's what we are. If I ask you one question for each team, it will be the same question: what are the strength and what are the weakness? And let me know about Team Canada right now.
Well, for Team Canada, I would say obviously their strength is their forwards, right? Without a doubt, if you look at the players that are there, the majority are centermen. So it gives them the luxury on each of the lines to have a couple centermen. So that puts them in a very strong position. They have, a lot of captains that are on the team from their various squads. So you got leadership. You've got players that are clutch goal scorers in that mix. So I would say by far they have the strongest forward group of players. In terms of their weakness, I would say, it's probably in the goaltend. Well, not probably, it is. It's their goaltending, right? We just don't know what to expect now. At the Four Nations, we were pleasantly surprised with the performance of Bennington, and I think they start off there, but there's no room or very little room to make mistakes here, and he'll be pulled if after game one if he's not performing to snuff. But the other two, I mean, the defense is okay, so I'm not gonna harp too much on that. When you look at Team USA, I mean, they have a lot of firepower as well up front, but I still think it doesn't quite match up to Team Canada. Their defense is extremely strong, right? And their goaltending is, I mean, you can't go wrong with Ottinger, Swayman, Hellebuck. I mean, any one of those three or combination, depending on how they decide to play them, is going to be a definite asset for them. Their defense is relatively strong as well. Um, with Faber, you got McAvoy, you have Slavin, Werenski, of course, Quinn Hughes. Like they're solid there, right? And again, given the structure of how the Olympics are, it still surprises me to some degree that somebody like Lane Hudson is not on that list. I think it'll benefit them for subsidiary play. And by that, I mean when it comes to overtime, when it comes to, bringing the dimension of speed to the game and creativity. I think that he would be absolutely a definite plus, but he's not there, so we're not going to really get into that too much more. So yeah, so Team USA, their definite strength is in net. What's weakest there is of the three is probably the combination of some of the forwards, but still a very very strong team, and I think really these are the two teams that we're looking at, and that all things being equal should meet in the finals for the gold medal.
Yeah, sorry about that. My dog get looking for his treat right now. He did not see it.
It's your leg. Give him your
Yeah, I
leg,
gave him
coach.
something right there, but go behind. Don't say, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm messing it up.
Yeah, it's okay. While coach is doing that, we'll look at some of the other teams that probably could end up being a factor if you really think about it. I would not discount Sweden in all of this with Finland. They're always very competitive teams and play. Oh, there you go. You see, coach has it ready to go. He's
There
the
we go.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah, two teams that always play within a very structured system, and you look at Finland. I think that they're very strong up front as well. It's once you get to the defense that sometimes you question how well can it hold up, especially since there's a couple nagging injuries with a couple of those players that are there right now. So the toll of a tournament like this could really impact them. Um, Sweden, very talented up front as well with some of their players. Um, Goaltending is the question mark. I think yes, you have Gustafsson and Wallstedt. I think that have been playing extremely well for Minnesota this year. Um, I I'm a little bit worried about it though, to be honest with you, if
And
they
you know
can hold
what?
up.
Their D is really good. Sweden is really
Their
good. I think
defense
for
is
me,
good. Yeah,
Sweden is the underdog of that tournament.
I would agree, but I mean, they when they go up against Finland, it's always a fight to the bitter end. I would not discount Finland if they're playing Sweden. They
The
always
problem
find a
for me,
way.
Sweden, is honestly the defenseman. After Eskinen, uh,
You mean for
it's
Finland?
lower.
For Finland? For Finland, yeah,
For Finland,
yeah.
yeah. For Finland, it's
Yeah,
not
and they have a
great.
couple of injuries too there, coach. A couple
Yeah,
guys that I mean, they're gonna play, but they have nagging injuries, and it's gonna be difficult to hold off some of the offensive power by some of these teams that are there. We named Canada and US, but even Sweden has a lot to throw at them, and even to a lesser degree, a team like Czechia, if you really want to dig deep.
yeah. I think for me, they have a good forward, Finland, but the defenseman is a little bit more behind, obviously, for them. They have, Eskinen is at the top right there, but after that is more like a second pairing in
Yeah.
NHL, like Mikela, Manta, Lindell, right? If you look about
Lindell,
the
yeah,
defenseman for Sweden, you have a top line there: Carlson, Hetman, Forsling, and Dalin. So it's stronger. I think the key for me for Sweden will be the goaltender. If the goaltender make a good games,
showing.
whatever is Gustafsson, I think Gustafsson will be the starter over there. Webster will be the second, and then Maxson will be number three. I think Sweden could surprise about that. Get the next round. I think they're going to be on the top three on that tournament about this. I'm a little bit concerned, Mr. Antab, with Team USA. If you look about Team USA again, I think they are
Yeah.
here. I'm going to remove here. I'm going to move here. Uh, Look, it's I understand they have a good team. Team USA, Boldy, Corner, Eckel, Hughes, Wenzel, Keller, Larkin, Matthews, Miller, Nelson, Kachuk, Thompson, Trocheck, right? At the defense, yes, they have Hughes, McEnroy, Sanderson, Slavin, but it's not end of the world for the Sweden. It's not like a big strength right there. I think it's pretty on the defenseman. It's not bad at all. Anderson advantage USA a little bit more, but
Yeah.
USA cannot come there to thinking it's going to be easy. I'm just a little bit worried for the USA. It's not about the culture. It's about how serious they want it and how Bill Guerin want to. Bill Guerin be controversy a lot during the last couple of weeks with the pick. And the way they build the pick is more about physicality versus size versus other things. So I'm not sure about Team USA. If you have one disappointment, I believe it could be Team USA, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
a team
I
could
mean, I
expect high and did not reach this. Like out of I think Canada is out of the middle disappointment, in my opinion. Right? Any team
yes.
like between USA, Canada, out of the out the middle, I think will be a disappointment.
Yeah, I think the states have to be very very disciplined, right? Like I said earlier, this is not the four nations. You can't pull some of the garbage that transpired at that here in the Olympics. They have to stay true to to a game plan. And you're right. Like I'm not going to say that necessarily the culture, but it's some of the decisions that were made
Yeah, that's my point. I
to.
don't know the words
Yeah,
about this. I'll tell you the truth, but this was my a bit my
yeah.
concern.
It like some things just don't really add up for me, and it the cherry on top was the fact that who did they give the captaincy to? They gave it to Austin Matthews, which boggles the mind when you got guys like Eichel and Larkin and guys that are determined or not determined, but they're established leaders already that have accomplished something. And they decided to go with Matthews, who really, I would say, underperformed at the Four Nations and has not really taken the Leafs very far at all.
No, you're absolutely about that. Here, guys, the schedule, Mr.
Schedule.
Lapap, the big game, like Team USA and the Team Canada, guys. You can see the schedule. 10:40, the Thursday the 12, 3:10 for USA again. Latvia. And then you have the 13th, Finland, Sweden. This is the game going to follow up, guys. So we're going to get, guys, if you want to know more what we're doing, we do all the game from Canada here. And then we're going to present the game between Finland and Sweden, guys. Don't miss that one. And then you have USA, Denmark. Maybe we're going to go that one now. Maybe it'll be Saturday afternoon. It'll be too late. And then you have Canada, France, Sunday, and USA, Germany also. Maybe too late on that one. But otherwise, it will be good. What I'm going to do also is tomorrow, guys, don't miss it. Women tomorrow at 2:10 tomorrow afternoon. Team USA against Team Canada on the women's side of the game. So that'll be the one to watch, honestly, for the Team Olympics. And we'll see. If for all the people in the chat, you, Mr. Tap, what are your expectations? How do you see it will be your prediction of this tournament? Who win the gold and silver and the bronze?
Well, I think with the women it's a little bit more, I think, predictable in that we should see a Canada USA matchup at the end for the gold. Um, the USA has really had the upper hand in the games that they've played to date prior to the Olympics when they've met up, and it hasn't even really been that close. And if you throw into the equation that Marie-Philippe Poulin is now possibly injured, to what degree we don't know yet, it could present a huge problem for Canada. But I still expect, even though the competition has gotten better over the years in the women's, it's still not at the level where your tier one is still Canada, US, and then you have the rest are at tier two and even tier three. With the men's, yeah, go ahead, coach. Yeah.
Now, I was thinking with you, like Canada, I think USA gold, Canada silver, for my
Silver,
opinion,
yeah.
and maybe Finland on the bronze on the US.
Finland looks good. Yeah, I would agree with that. With the men, it's a little bit more unpredictable because the parity is a lot better. We've just talked about that earlier. All indications should be again Canada, U.S., but I can't disagree with you that there could be a possible upset that happens along the way. All it takes is it's one game and move on, right? And I think that if you're not ready, or if you have a game where maybe the goaltending isn't up to snuff, I mean, it could be a quick exit, right? So, but I'm gonna say Canada gold for me. I think USA will probably get silver, and I'm gonna go with Sweden as bronze.
Yeah, that's exactly my pick. 1, 2, 3, right there. Like on the men's side, I think they're going to get that direction. And
The interesting thing, Coach, I don't know if you're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's the pay attention to the structure of how this is all done, because there are three groups, three divisions, And in terms of how they play each other after the round robin, that they play each other once, is they will rank the division winners 1, 2, 3, and then the next best team will be number 4, and then they're all ranked according to their points from 4 to 12. So it's interesting that way. If they're tied, they go into in the regular round robin. It's a 5-minute overtime, and if it's not settled, they go into a shootout. And even the shootout's a little bit different than what we see in the NHL, because you're going to have 5 shooters going head to head, and then after that, if you're still tied, you can put out one player, and we saw that with
All the
TJ
way with
Oshie many times.
Oshie and everything like that, right?
Right, until it's decided. And if it's in the playoffs, which is the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, you will have a second overtime period that is not 5 minutes, but will be 10 minutes. So the chances that you'll get to and it's also 3-on-3, which is extremely important to remember when we talk about how some of these teams were constructed, because maybe, and I'm thinking Team USA, didn't quite think too far ahead. What happens if we get into an overtime situation? What happens if we get into a shootout situation? So
You can
it'll
have
be interesting.
McKinnon and McDavid together.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
On that one for sure. We'll see what happens. Guys, give you a bit an overview of the Olympics tonight. Like I said, we bring here a little bit of information. We did not do a lot Olympics, but starting tomorrow, guys, we'll be live on almost every day about live stream hockey game. So don't miss it. Join us live. And of course, the first preliminary will be a little bit more boring, but after that, when the big game's coming, I'm sure will be more people watching the game on that one, Mr. Natap. I think let's move on this clash, Mr. Natap. We're going to finish a little bit more early tonight, if you don't mind. I think it will be good for everyone because it's very quiet now. Many hockey, you can see the people are not here tonight because the real one, the one love the hockey, they are here, but most of them, they just want to take a night off, and that's understanding. I understand. Mr. Natap, the clash absolutely not allowed. Can use the deadline to trade minimum or not?
I'm going to go with not at all. I think they might make one, but we're looking probably at bottom 6 or a bigger defenseman, stay-at-home kind of defenseman. So I think only one trade.
One trade, I think you're right about that. I expect the same thing. When talking the trade, you can have a minor trade, a Laval player, but it's not what we're looking for. But
Yeah.
I think you're right about this. I expect only one trade for Kent Hughes on this one. Next one, Montreal 95 point plus, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think I'm going to go with absolutely. I think they might hit more around 97, 98 from all indications. But again, health is going to be number one, right? They're going to hopefully get a couple players back, especially Newhook. I think that will be a great addition because he fits in so well in terms of his speed and transition game. So I'm going to say absolutely.
Yeah, I feel the same way like you. I feel 95 plus for Montreal Canadiens. Maybe one or the other. I'll be shocking, but that's what my expectation, like you said, about this. Let's move on to the next one. Nick Suzuki, 100 point, Cole Caulfield, 45 goal. Absolutely not at all. If you said one after that, explain. If you are, yes, it's okay, but split, let me know.
Are you saying both?
Yeah,
both of those two things.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
100 points for Suzuki. Boy, oh boy. I mean, right now he's definitely above the 1 point per game. Hello, Brownie.
Yeah, she's now she's
active.
over now. She wants to go out now. She's like, come on, hurry up.
Look at those teeth.
Yeah,
Hurry up.
She played
Okay,
with my
so
fingers.
Yeah, I think they'll be slightly short of those two goals that you have there. So I'm going to say not at all.
Yeah, that's really close. Honestly, Garfield
Very close.
32 goals right now.
Yeah.
That gave him 13 to get
The
45
problem
and 25 games,
problem is
about
he's
one
streaky.
five. So I think he can get there. Suzuki, 60 what?
Suzuki's at 65 right now.
So 25 point. That gave him 90. I think Suzuki is a problem for
Yeah.
him about this. And but I think he got it. So we said not allowed. Yes, Caulfield. No, Suzuki, in my opinion.
Right. So not at
Right.
all.
Next one,
Agreed.
Canada. Canadian finished second. Apologize. Canadian finished top second on the Atlantic
In the
Division.
in the Atlantic. I'm gonna say not at all. I think only because I think if you look at the strength of schedule for them, and I know sometimes that's not a great barometer to go by, but they don't have a lot of easy games, and so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think they have a shot at third in the division, but it's going to be tough to stay on top. So not at all for me.
Uh, the winner of the woman 1,000 meter Mr. Tap, Judah Lordham. I think she worked at the Black Menu last
She
year,
does.
Mr. Tap.
She, I'll send you some information about her.
She was like, wow. There we go. I think she have
Yeah.
another career after the once she finished the Olympic, Mr. Tap. She's going to have another career for sure on this one.
Definitely.
Last one, Mr. Tap. Florida, Toronto, or Ottawa, and the playoff.
Tough. Like Florida's at 61, Toronto's at 63, I want to say, and I think Ottawa's at the same thing. That's a lot of
61
points to make
Florida,
up.
63 Toronto, and Ottawa.
And Ottawa, yeah. So I mean that's a lot to make up in terms of getting just into a wild card position. But more importantly, it's a lot of teams to jump over to get there. And the one thing we've been talking about is the parity, especially in the Atlantic Division. So I don't see this happening. I think all three are out. So not at all.
Not allowed. So who's going to make it?
None of them. None of them. I don't think.
So end the playoff Toronto or end the playoff, yeah, not allowed. I agree with you about that. The N26 also is agree with us about this one. I think it'll be very difficult. I think Florida cannot come back. Toronto or Ottawa, one of the two could maybe. It would have to have a collapse for Boston, Montreal, Detroit, Buffalo. And don't forget the division. I think one thing we don't talk enough is the Columbus Blue Jacket.
Washington. Yeah, Columbus. Yeah.
That one. Let me check back one more time here on this one. I think they are here, guys. Look, right now the Columbus are on the top three right now at 65. The Washington are 65. This is over for the Flyers, Devils, and the Rangers. So the Capitals, but they have 3 games in hands. So Capitals guys, they are there, but not honestly on this one. The Jacket on number 4 at 65 point, guys. So here's the point we have to pay attention. They are 65 and 56. And I'm going to get the Atlantic right there. So they are right now try to catch up the Boston. If they win the next game, the Columbus are going to be only 2 points behind the Boston Bruins at 57. So Columbus could maybe push Boston out or Buffalo. Example, just give you an example. But it will be hard right now to Ottawa, to jumping back and chasing the Columbus and the Boston Bruins with that 6 point behind.
Right, and when it comes to Ottawa, also a big question mark in net, right? Like we still have no direction in terms of Allmark and what's happening there, when he's returning, and when he returns, is he in the proper form to help them out. But I'll tell you one thing: like I agree with you with Columbus in terms of the great stride that they've made to get where they're at right now. The problem is, yes, they have games in hand, but they're going to be one of the teams that plays the most games afterwards, right? So they're going to have a lot of back-to-back games, a lot
Or
of
they have
4 and
the
5
schedule would be
nights.
more compressed every time. You're
Absolutely,
absolutely about
but
that
I'm
one over
saying
there
more
for
more
sure.
so than some other teams like Boston and Washington, Buffalo. So that's going to work against them. I mean, the fact that I think uh, the coaching change was a big help because it changed their way of thinking and the approach that they took to the game. And I think that's where Bonus is very strong in. He allows the players, he entrusts them, number one, and he allows them to play a more offensive minded game. And I think that that's made a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely about that. So it'll be fun to watching this. I write for Columbus. I like the press. They did the same thing last year, guys. They after the formation, Columbus was one of the top best team with Montreal, and they run all the way to the end about that one, and that will be really interesting what happening, of course, for the Columbus and the end of the season until then. And she's now trying to bite my fingers, my tail, my toes, and she asked, "Hey, get out here. We
When
have
are
to
we
get out."
going?
Yeah, every time that's what to do, guys. A very quiet night, guys. This happens during season, but at least we show up. Santa, it was a pleasure to have you aboard. Well, thanks to for the invitation to accept the invitation tonight, and I can wait to see you during
It's
the
always
next
a
couple of
pleasure,
days.
Coach.
We'll see what happening. I'm sure you're going to follow Team Canada at some point, and when we have another show, we'll let you know, and then we'll go from there. So thanks again. I appreciate that, and
Sounds good.
let's go with Team Canada. Believe, all right?
Go Canada, go. Thank you, Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation.
All right, Mr. Arenata, we wish you an amazing, great night. I feel better, by the way. So, Mr. Arenata was with us tonight, guys. I don't know why it was a quiet night tonight. I don't know. Maybe people are tired to see my face. Maybe I should take a night off. Maybe who knows? Coach Steve G, thanks so much to be with us tonight. I appreciate that. Hold on. Let's fix this because now, right now, she's really tired. Here we go. One more time. Let's conclude the show tonight at the Hockey Nation Show. You can see she's one to bite. No. 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 Tell bye. Tell good night to everybody. Tell good night, everybody. Tell good night, everybody. Thank you so much to be with us tonight. Appreciate that, Mr. Tap, all of you to be with us. I'll check about the news update. Moderator, Mr. Ron Kings, and all of you, David, and 26, many kind of you to put a lot of comments in the chat. Stand the man on the figure skating. Stand the man, no, not yet. We're going to get there tomorrow. Start tomorrow, guys. We'll be back at 2:10 tomorrow afternoon. Will be 2:10 on my time AM. But I want to do Team Canada and Team USA to be my first Olympics live stream. Don't forget that one. We're going to be live now every single day. We appreciate all of you to be with us. I can wait to see you next time. And until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing, great night. And don't forget to click on the likes. And of course, the only reason we get there slowly, properly, the right way is because... Can I figure out?
You are awesome.
I got it.
You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
That's all for the great night we got tonight. I can wait to see you tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night. Also, we'll be back tomorrow night Of course, until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing, great night. Be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half or what? Someone said 2026. Thanks so much, everybody, to be with us. The Hockey Nation Show, the Habs Nation, and all the people in the chat that want to say one more thanks. We love you, friends. Good night, everybody. Have an amazing, great day. Tomorrow, I can wait till tomorrow afternoon. RJ Calabro and Willie Snyder, Steve G. Thanks so much. Ron Overdue, thanks again to be with us tonight. I appreciate a lot. David, Brave Line, N26, and the man, and many others in the chat. Thanks so much. And I can wait till tomorrow night. Appreciate a lot. Love you. Okay, the coach. Love you too, my friend. She wants to go out now. You don't know, no clue how she wants to get out of here. Hey. Okay. Booyah!